Hi, David Smith from Australian Videocamera magazine. I'm going to walk you through some of the features of the iZotope Ozone 7 advanced software package for audio mixing and audio mastering. I'm going to use the track that I spoke about in an earlier video for OzCam magazine called Majestic Blackness by Mushroom Giant. I'll just show you how the iZotope interface actually works and how it works within Sony Vegas Pro, although of course it works in your own NLE if you choose to use a different one such as Premiere or Final Cut. It works the same way. So here's what happens. Here's the waveform for the Majestic Blackness video, and there's the video itself up here, which we'll leave run just for the sake of demonstrating this. Now I'm going to apply the iZotope plugin to the track, the entire track. I could apply it to the actual event, but I'm going to choose to apply it to the whole track. You can also apply it to the entire project if you want to, but I've just soloed this track, and we'll go to our plugin chooser, and they're the default ones: track noise gate, track EQ, and track compressor. But I'm going to go in and add Ozone 7, the whole thing, and we'll see its interface pop up like this, and you get the presets window sitting here over to the left, and the main window sitting here, and it's best to leave it at the full size. We'll just let it cover up a bit of the video here. Here's the default window, and you can see a number of things immediately. You've got a display here where the waveform will appear, and these are the nodes that you can work on to adjust various parameters, as we'll see. There are, in this case, 8 bands of equalization available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 4 of these are active at the moment. 1, 3, 5, and 7, but you can make all 8 active if you want to, which gives you incredible control over the sound. And over here on the left in the presets window, we've got this huge range of presets, all-purpose mastering, and you can see an enormous selection down here. And let's just see what happens if I go to, say, warm and transparent, and you'll see immediately the waveform jumps to this new version, and you've got your equalizer here, you've got your dynamics clicked on here, here's your maximizer settings, and here's one where you can choose another module if you want to, and there's the range of ones that are available here to work with. But we'll go back to here to our maximizer, our equalizer, and first of all you can see how this has been shaped to give the warm and transparent sound. It's got its own special unique dynamics and maximizer settings that do that, and if I change to a different one, say a tube master, we get a very different set of, here we have a vintage limiter, we've still got dynamics and EQ, but it's a very different curve as well. And of course you can just grab each of these nodes and do as you will. You pull it down and you'll see immediately that the actual numbers in hertz and dB gain are displayed when you press on the center button. This little slider here on each one, these handles let you adjust the width of the effect, or what's called the Q, and you can see it's numbered up here as well as Q.0.38. The bigger the number, the tighter it gets. They disappear when you let go, and you can go off to the next one. Now, I'll just put that back to where it was on Tube Master, and we'll just do a few more. Here's a tight bass one and very different look. We've now got an imager like so. We've got dynamics, an exciter, a maximizer. Once you've made any changes that you want to make to move away from the preset settings to something that you prefer, you can then save that, and it then becomes one of the ones in the list. Let's see how this works. Well, let's make some music now and see how this Ozone 7 advanced package looks and works in a real project. We'll start by going back to Majestic Blackness by Mushroom Giant, which was reviewed earlier this year in a thing called The Making of Majestic Blackness. We'll start off with this quiet part here, and you can see the video up there playing to the right, nicely grunged up and all black and white, as was the plan. We're going to add Ozone 7 to the whole track. There it is, along with a whole range of other options. Now I'll just move the effects window to the left and move this one across. We can see the video still working in the corner, but that's not really essential. There's the waveform, and here's the main window that we're looking at in Ozone. all displayed in various ways to give you complete control, either by doing it with your mouse or by doing it with actual numerical entry. So we'll play the music, and here comes the waveform. We're in the equalizer module at the moment, and so you can see there's 4 out of the 8 possible sections selected. There's dynamics, showing the dynamics pane, then the maximizer pane, each with their own individual windows and settings. And of course there's a whole range of presets over here on the left, and you can just scroll down the list and easily get started on a preset that is close to your needs, and then you can tweak it and adjust it to suit your specific needs. So this one's the brighten the overall mix. This one is emphasize the bass, and you can see the bass popped up just a little bit there, also a bit more up here at the treble end. So there's literally well over 100 presets that you can choose from. It's a great place to get started. There's also genre-specific mastering presets, and in the online written review I did describe the gentle rock and the indie rock ones. This is the gentle rock, and this has got the lovely vintage look to it. The look reminiscent of vintage EQ, vintage compression, vintage tape, which is a lovely preset to give it that slight tapey Beatles kind of sound, which has been very hard to get unless you actually used a real tape recorder. And then there's a vintage limiter, and you can see at the top the dark line shows the amount of limiting that's being applied at any given point. And then if we go to the indie rock alternative, this is now a digital, not a vintage version, and it's got 7 of the 8 bands active doing things in the EQ module. There's the dynamics band and the maximizer doing its work. Once you've set things up the way you want, of course, you can save it as your own preset, and it's then available for use anytime you choose. Now, of course, you can add modules in any way you like. Here's the selection of available modules, and you just simply drag them down to that bottom section, and they become part of your module chain. You can change the order just by dragging things along, put them back the way you want. The order is actually quite critical in a theoretical sense, so you've got to be a bit careful with the way you change the order, but of course you can do what you will. It's entirely up to you to get the sound that you want. Now I want to show you something rather fancy, which is the Insight module as part of the Ozone 7 Advanced suite. You get this wonderful program which, as you can see, shows a spectrogram view in 3D, a sound field view, loudness history curve, and then you get spectrum analysis, and then several metering devices to show levels and power output. Again, there's a whole range of choices here which give you your meters that can check on the legality of the signal that you're putting out for broadcast purposes, particularly in different countries. There are variations, so some will be in the US, some in Japan, some in Australia, and so on, and they're all listed here. If we go up to the audio analysis package, we've got a 3D spectrum analyzer here, which is, apart from anything else, amazingly fun to watch. And this just shows the spectrum of frequencies from the lows on the left to the highs up on the right, up to 20k. And this is the soft portion of our music track, and so you can see there's a bit of action on the bass side, and it tapers off gradually to the right, like a gently rolling mountain range. Now if we go up to the middle section, the loud section, where a lot of things are happening, you see the mountain range suddenly increases in height, and this is reflecting the power across the whole spectrum of frequencies. I'll just stop this and go back to the quiet one again, and you can see how the mountain range now recedes. This is the very beginning where there's just a bit of bass and guitar, so there's very low frequencies, nothing much in the middle, and almost nothing at the top end. A brilliant way of visualizing your music and helping you perhaps match different styles together. Lots of options, but it's also great fun to watch. Let's check out some of the other options. Here's a spectral waterfall and an averaging spectrum analyzer. Now these sort of things would have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars a couple of decades ago to produce machines that could do this. The incredible thing is it's all happening in zero latency, so you can play this along with your music and just seeing what's happening to the tonal range in real time as you play or play back the recording. So this is actually highly sophisticated electronic monitoring using analyses like the fast Fourier analysis, which is extremely comprehensive and incredibly computer intensive. And it's just a miracle of the way this 64-bit software works, that you can get it to play back in real time along with your video and original audio track. So Insight gives you a fantastic way to view your audio in many, many more ways than are normally possible in a standard NLE, and you get all the information you need displayed brilliantly for you. As I said in the written review, you always keep learning in the video and audio field, and that's one of the joys of the whole process, is that with such wonderful tools available at incredibly reasonable prices these days, you never stop learning, you never stop having fun, and hopefully you never stop making good quality programs.